This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
It is 10:07 on the East Coast, 7:07 in Las Vegas. No longer the only legalized home of betting. Want to see how long it takes Florida to pick up on that? Oh, man. Money Info brought to you by Princeton Research with Mike King in Las Vegas and Charles Moskowitz in Boston. Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, does this change at all the availability of betting on local teams in Las Vegas?
Well, you know,
wasn't there a prohibition on that?
I think there was, and it's gone now. So I think all bets are off, and you know what's going to be very interesting to see.
All bets are on.
Yeah, or all bets are on. Yes, is to see what happens. Which NBA team moves there? Most likely Memphis, and which baseball team moves there? And that could be Tampa. Could be, believe it or not, the Marlins with a brand new stadium. It's man, yeah. There's going to be two moves in a hurry. Now that this has gone away. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Yep.
You know, got to be the guy who does the best in all of this is, what's his name? Tillman Fertitta? The guy who owns both the Houston Rockets and Golden Nugget, which is a private company now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't.
So
my God.
So he has all of that Louisiana and Mississippi stuff.
Yeah.
Where they can start immediately.
Well,
I mean, it's definitely the regional guys who make out the best because, you know, if you're in Las Vegas, you're already in Las Vegas. Everything that you'd want is there. The addition of it at places like they were talking about New Jersey this morning, about the fact that New Jersey was going to do a major installation at Monmouth Park.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that on Network News, yeah.
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 And so, you know, they make out. But again, you know, clearly, these guys, the regional guys, I guess maybe Boyd also does well, and of course the makers of you know, any equipment that's used. Not that I guess there's that much to be used. I mean, a sports book is, you know, what, a computer with an odds page.
Well, yeah, and then you look at these fantastic facilities in Vegas that are just, you know, off the charts, you know, equipment-wise.
Luxurious.
Oh yeah. They are, and you know, now, you know, it was funny. I was just talking with our marketing vice president of the Miami Dolphins yesterday, and I was laughing. I said, "Well, you think the Seminoles are jumping for joy right now?" You know, and it's yeah. I mean, this thing is huge now. Right. You know, in Mike's neck of the woods, you have to wonder what's going to happen to Vegas now. You know, I mean, obviously it's going to grow. There's no doubt about that. Right. But, you know, is the casino thing going to be what it always has been? Because it doesn't have to be anymore. And well, you know, yeah.
You know, there was never a problem getting a bet down on a game before it was organized. So,
I know.
I don't know that that's really going to be you know, too big a deal. And frankly, Las Vegas is an awful lot of, you know, convention and entertainment.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, well, you look at our broadcasters convention
Vegas isn't
there.
going anywhere until the water runs out.
Well, yeah. Hey, keep your eyes on that too. Believe me.
Yeah, no joke.
No, it is not a joke anymore. Especially if seriously, this thing goes through in November in California to split that up in 3 states. And if you look at the map of, it looks like the Kern River may be the dividing line between NorCal and SoCal. The Cal
Right.
Coast is going to have to figure something out. And the rumor is they're going to try and take that nuke plant in San Luis Obispo and turn that into a desalinization plant. But,
Yeah.
has there been enough time so that water decontaminates or whatever?
Well, when you were living in Southern California and I was living in Northern California, all you heard about is the farmers are stealing all our water.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. And it's been, believe me, it's been that way since I was in high school in the 60s.
Yeah.
That's all we heard about was the Central California farmers. Well,
Right.
And it's going to be very interesting
Hey,
because there
you
won't
know-
be any water in SoCal, if you will, if the farmers decide that they're going to keep it in the northern part of the state. Interesting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, San Diego's
Anyway, the
covered.
market's down about 190 after 8 days up in a row. We actually were short the market as of about 2 hours before the close yesterday. We bought some S&P puts at 97 cents, which we sold the first half of on our 100% up rule at $2 at the open.
Okay.
And right now they are $2.64. So, we're sitting and watching, but we don't have any more money in the trade, so it's not urgent. If the market continues to sell off, which it kind of looks like it may, we'll just hold those. They don't expire until Friday. But
Okay.
it's been a monstrous return year to date. We're just under 79% year to date in the option trading account, and about 32% in the stock and option account, which is a much more conservative way of trading, both stocks and options, and writing options against our stock positions to protect them. So, but the big news today clearly is the U.S. dollar. Interest rates on the 10-year have not only peaked through 3%.
Yeah, I heard that yesterday.
They're now almost 3.6%.
Whoa.
3.59, 3.059. So just under 3.6%. And so gold, the dollar-denominated internationals are down pretty hard, although not crude. Crude is down a little, but, more like 0.4%, which, up here at $70 is only 28 or 30 cents. But the gold was down over $22. Silver was down. Copper is down, which is kind of counterintuitive only from the standpoint of, if the economy is booming, copper tends to be in use. But copper, which was around 310 in the middle of the day yesterday, is now 304, down 1.5%. So, we're
That
getting
seems
quite
weird.
a mix here.
Yeah.
And the interest rate sensitive ones, for example, the banks, are, slightly changed. The issue there is higher interest rates help the banks. An upward sloping yield curve helps the banks because they borrow short and they loan long. And the issue is not so much where the rates are, but how quickly they got there. I mean, we were 294 yesterday. That's 10 basis points. 10 basis points used to be a yearly range in a 10-year. So, that's the concern. The concern is that the Fed over-tightens, which they generally do, and they, take the wind out of the economy at a point in time where, we really kind of need growth more than anything else.
So who's got
And
confidence? Who's got confidence in our dollar around
Everyone,
the world?
evidently.
Yeah,
when
no
you're,
kidding.
When you're, when you're looking at the German Bund at, I don't know, 0.48% yield for the 10-year, and you're looking here at 3.06, that's pretty substantial. It gets a lot of play here. And it's too bad Tim's not on with us today, but Brent hit almost $80 this morning.
I saw that. Oh, man. Yeah. Hey, I got a question for you. I guess it was Friday. Symantec lost $6 billion, and we're talking with a B, dollars worth of value. And then it rebounded yesterday. What in the world?
A little bit today. There was some talk. The thing that got it started was a comment that they had to do in an 8K, which is any material change in the company, that the audit committee had turned around and gotten its own lawyer to deal with an issue, and it turned out that it was an accounting issue, and so they were very concerned about it. Yesterday afternoon, it was down about $6 or $7, and then yesterday afternoon, when it was up about $1.50 or $2, they came out and said that it would not be material restatement of past year's earnings. That was the big deal. The big deal was if they're going to have to report a change in earnings, the company isn't what it seems to be, and so they took that down pretty hard. But again, like you said, it was up $2.50 yesterday, and it's up a little today in a terrible-looking market. Stanley Black & Decker down a point or so. The big one was Home Depot, down about $5 because they had earnings that while they were in line, were not a blowaway. And of course, the main issue was the fact that with the cooler weather that we've had across the country, that the spring season of stuff, the lawn care, the flowers and plants and stuff were definitely not up where they expected them to be or where historically they have been. So it was down about $5 at the open. It's now down about 2.5 or 3. Lowe's was down in sympathy with that. And a lot of the chip stocks yesterday have been very soft. And, of course, Tesla's down about $6. Somebody lowered their price target on it to 270 from 350. It was trading at 271, so, there wasn't much to be concerned about there.
And, of course, there's that little fella in lovely Omaha, Nebraska, who was telling Fox Business that, he's buying Apple now because, it's not technology anymore. It's an appliance. I love it. I love it. That's amazing.
Ask Sears how selling appliances works out.
Whoa, was that huge or what? I mean, my parents had Kenmore's going all the way back to the 40s, and I think, wow, that's about all
it's funny that the business plan for making Sears profitable is closing all the stores and selling off all the brands.
Man, that's okay. Wow.
But in the meantime, it was up like 7% yesterday. Let me look and see where it is today. Today it's down 21 cents, or just under 6%, 5.9%. That one is one, you really have to look at not only the net change, but you have to look at the percentage change there. I mean, I write in the Daily Note and put in parentheses almost all the time. When I put in SHLD, I put in parentheses, still terminal.
Yeah.
I think it is. I mean, I can't imagine. This deal with Amazon is, interesting, but so what? I mean, the tire business is, terribly fragmented, and there's plenty to choose. I mean, I can think of 4 brands within 10 minutes of my house.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Firestone, a local one, NTB, and Tire Fair. And that doesn't even include the ones that you can order online. There's a place called TireRack.com.
Yes.
That not only will mount your tires and balance them before they send them to you. So, I mean, that's about as full service as it gets, and their prices are probably 20 or 22% below what everybody else's are.
I'll wait till I can mount them online.
Yeah.
Well, actually, maybe you could get Alexa or Google Home to do the actual mounting.
Right.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that would be amazing. But it wasn't it interesting, though, that you mentioned Sears, but it seemed like all of the retail sector, like JCPenney, Kohl's, they all seemed to take a beating yesterday. Not bad, but I mean, they were down.
Yeah. Well, there's an awful lot of places to spend the money. And in fact, not only were some of those stores and mall-based retail bad, but also they took a bunch of wind out of the sales of the casual dining stocks, too. And I think that, we're now approaching that point, that tipping point where oil production helps the economy, but the lowest income people are, now stuck with almost $3 gas. And so, that becomes a problem. And, of course, mall-based and casual dining, all of which you have to drive to, becomes kind of an issue. I mean, they're talking about if we stay the way that we are, Memorial Day gas will be over $3. Out west, it's already over $3.
Oh yeah, your old stomping grounds.
God forbid you should drive a car like mine, where you have to put in premium, and you're well over $3 here.
Yeah. And San Francisco, did you see that?
They had Mohammed Al-Arian on yesterday, and he was talking about the fact that he paid $4.12 for gas.
Well, let's say they're looking at $7 a gallon in San Francisco for Memorial Day. That's but there again, that's California taxes for you too.
Well,
Whoops.
Anyway,
Gotcha.
Mike is evidently having some trouble getting on. So I'm just going to tell him just to call back in again.
Now, I was hearing bells. Did somebody check
I thought that I did too, but...
I came on. It's Chris Anderson here.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Excellent. How about yourself?
Just fine. Why don't you tell us a little about your company, Chris?
Did I jump in a live show here?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with Examen Mining. I'm the CEO and president of Examen Mining Corp. The symbol on the U.S. is XXMMF. And I'm sorry, is this Jack I'm speaking to, or?
Charles and Greg.
Charles and Greg, hi.
Right.
Is Mike not on the line?
Mike is having trouble getting in, but I'm sure he'll show up.
Oh, okay.
So what is it that you mine? I mean, what's your
Well,
main
we're
product?
we're a junior exploration company situated in British Columbia, southern British Columbia, in a prolific gold belt there, and we've got one of the first epithermal gold discoveries that's yet unmined. We have a fantastic website. If your audience went there, they'd see a nice 3D model of all the work that's been done. We've got over 100.
What's the site address?
It's Examen Mining Corp. That's Ximen Mining Mining Corp CORP.com.
Okay.
Yeah, and we just got listed on the OTCQB about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we've got a very nice share structure. Our share structure, we've got only about 23 million shares out. We trade at about, in Canada, we're around 21 cents. So in the States, we're 15, 16 cents. We've paid, what's interesting about Examen, when you're looking at a junior mining company, we used our technical expertise to pick up some other assets in the region, and we've formulated a model for ourselves. So we have our key asset, which is the Brett Gold Project, and that's had millions of dollars spent on it. And we've paid millions of dollars and paid it off. We own everything 100%, so we're completely debt-free. And the Brett Project's had 1,300 feet of development done on it, 186 holes, which you guys can all see on the website. And we've had a bulk sample that was done and completed at trail. Basically, they were taking out an ounce gold at surface with a backhoe and ran it through the Teck-Cominco mill. And then what we did was we also picked up two other projects in lower southern British Columbia, and we joint ventured those. In other words, we made two other separate deals with two other public companies. So Examen has its main project, the Brett Gold Project, and then it has another project called the Gold Drop, which we've joint ventured with a company called GGX. And they recently just got listed on the OTCQB as well. Their symbol is GGXXF. And then we have another project called the Treasure Mountain Silver Project, which we joint ventured with another company called NED. Now, they're not New Destiny. They're not listed on the OTC yet, but they're trading around 20 cents in Canada. Both of our joint venture projects are paying Examen cash and stock on an annual basis for the next 3 years, which is providing Examen with a positive cash flow situation. And we own everything 100%. So that's sort of like a big overview of what Examen's about.
Chris, where is this in British Columbia?
So the projects are, the Brett Main project is just north of Vernon. And it's up in the mountains there. It's got all the infrastructure's been put in there. The logging roads were all developed. And so it's just a great situation as far as access and convenience to get. You know, if you're looking to build a gold mine in the Okanagan, it's a perfect spot.
So now
the website is really very interesting. I mean, it really gives a solid explanation of who the company is. And just so that our people, I don't know that we've mentioned it, but here in the U.S., the symbol is XXMMF. That's what the QB always uses an F or a Y on any foreign security. But the website is very impressive. I mean, it really tells the whole story here.
Yeah, thank you. We've just been rolling that out now, trying to get all our I just came back from Germany as well. We've been just listed over there as well. So we're trying to get all our presence out there in the world. So as we move forward in our exploration plans this year, you know, we've got excellent exposure. And I've been an avid buyer. I'm one of the largest shareholders of the company.
And what kind of pricing do you need on gold to maintain, you know, profitability?
Well, this situation here, I mean, most of the gold is fairly shallow or near surface.
Right.
But there is potential for underground development as well. I mean, it already does have a 1,300-foot drift put in it. So these prices here are we would make money at these prices, I believe.
Yeah.
Again, that's to qualify. You know, we haven't done a pre-economic assessment or anything like that yet. That's coming, but these prices are enough for us to make money at, I would assume.
Well, that's great. Are you with us, Mike?
Yes, so you say $12.93 is today's price.
Yeah.
On the gold.
1,300. 1,300, you can do all right.
You know what I like about the gold market is that we're at the bottom. You know what I mean? The gold and mining stocks are just completely. We're at the bottom end. I think we're at the beginning of another gold bull cycle. You know, we've seen the marijuana stocks, the cryptos, and the bitcoins just suck the wind right out of anything to do with the mining space. And you know, the retail market is just not there yet. It's just, I think when you know, looking forward here, I think we're going to see a major correction in the equities market, and I think we'll see a major move into the mining stocks, particularly in the precious metals, gold and silver.
Hey, Chris, you just mentioned crypto. People that has. I can't believe that someone would invest in that when they could invest in gold or a gold mining operation. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it's just a mania, Mike, and you know, I've asked many retail investors that have got into cryptos or mentioned to me that they want to get into cryptos, and I said, well, do you know what it does? Can you explain it to me? And it's very, very rare that I have anybody that actually has an in-depth knowledge of what they're buying, right?
And you know, the interesting thing, or at least that's what I thought this morning, they had a woman on CNBC who lives in Senegal, and she's very big on the African nations and the fact that if you want to do business there, you have to own currency there. And one of her big arguments for blockchain and for both Ethereum and Bitcoin is the fact that it's easy to transact. But that said, when they asked her about the risk involved, she immediately piped up and said, we don't hold it overnight. I mean, we do the transaction and we're in and we're out. It's just a medium for us. You know, could be anything. But that, you know, that kind of puts a pin in, you know, in the bubble that is Bitcoin.
Sure, you're playing.
You know, people who are willing to, you know, I mean, if you're going to buy a $500,000 car, that, you know, people say, oh yeah, we take Bitcoin. They don't sit with that for a minute.
Well, I can tell you,
the risk is so extreme.
Yes.
Nobody holds it overnight.
I guarantee you that guys, the Lexus dealer that's coming in right after this show will not take Bitcoin for their cars. I can guarantee that.
Well, and you know, you can't work for it because, you know, let's say you do some sort of manufacturing or whatever, you pay for your you know, you pay for your raw materials and you know what your cost is, and, you know, you turn around and do something in Bitcoin and, you know, it trades 24/7. You know, you go to sleep with an $8,000 Bitcoin and you know what your margin of profit is there, and you wake up in the morning with a $7,200 Bitcoin and all of a sudden you're 10% underwater.
You know, I it's just like playing hot potato, right? So whoever ends up with the one at the end is you know, when it corrects, is going to be the one that gets stuck holding the hot potato. But right. I always ask people, you know, we're expecting a major market correction. So let me ask you this: would you rather have a Bitcoin or an ounce of gold in your hand? And you know, because if a satellite came in and if a meteorite came and knocked out a satellite, what would you rather have? A useless Bitcoin wallet or an ounce of gold in your hand? Right.
Right. Yep.
Sure,
that's the way I look at it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you know the thing about gold is a fiat is a currency that is accepted anywhere in the world just on face value. You show an ounce of gold, people understand what it is. Right. It's got 5,000 years trusted true as being a form of currency, and this is the first time in human history that fiat currencies have not been locked into gold. We got 700 and some odd different fiat currencies around the world. None of them are locked into gold. It's first time in human history, right? We've been dealing with a situation where if you've got a job and you're making $30,000 a year, and you go to your boss and you say, "Mr. Boss, I've been working hard. I'd like to get a raise." The boss gives you a raise of 10%, gives you $3,000 extra a year. The government can tax that right away. They can tax, grab half of that money, and away they go. So their motivation is always driven, from the central bank point of view, is always driven to build inflation into the system because they know how to tax that. When we get into a situation where it's deflationary, where we've got, like right now, what's going on with the demographics around the world, where we've got an older population, we got the millennials coming in, you see the job market tightening in the U.S. When we got that kind of situation and we got a major market correction coming, and so you got a job for $30,000, you go to your boss and you say, "Mr. Boss, I'd like to have a raise." He says, "No, things are tough. I can't find other employees. Our consumption rate is going down. Or, I can feel the pressures." So you say, "Okay." And then prices start to drop. Well, you're doing fantastic because now the housing market's coming off a little bit. The car market pricings are coming down. And all of a sudden you realize that but the government can't tax that. We've had the central banks feeding the system, trying to into this system for a long time now. And we're looking at a major correction. When it comes this time, what's interesting about it this time is that the psychological ground out there is that we've got a lot of seniors and elderly people that own a lot of these equities. They're not back in the workforce. This is their retirement nest egg. So when that market starts to correct, how fast do you think they're going to get out of there? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's going to be a race to get out of that. So you're going to see a pretty major correction. And this is when precious metals and these mining stocks are just really going to take off.
Are there any byproducts relative to your mining? I mean, do you get some silver? Do you get
absolutely,
copper?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we get silver and gold. Yeah. The other thing about this Brett project in particular is it's a very low sulfide system. So it's very benign with the water. Fantastic metallurgy, 95% recovery, right? We've got all our drilling and trenching permits in place. So we're just organizing a program now for this season. So we wanted to make sure we got all listings set up in Germany, throughout the United States, and now in Canada. And now we're just setting up all our marketing, and then we'll be announcing our work programs. I mean, when you're looking at a junior company, wouldn't you want to look for good management, right? You want to look for a good asset in a safe location, good share structure, right? Our company has no debt. As a matter of fact, we're cash flow positive. We got 2 joint venture partners feeding us cash and stock. It's a great scenario. We're sitting in a very good situation at the moment.
Chris, how long can you mine where you are located? Meaning weather-wise,
The scenario that we're looking around, we could operate all year round.
Oh,
right?
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
we could operate all year round.
Okay.
But we wouldn't be doing anything that's major open pit. We'd be going in. We've already got the tunnel. We've got a tunnel built, and we'd be operating from an underground scenario, right? And the nice thing about it is there's several mills in the area that are all looking for feed, and so this is it. We wouldn't even have to build a mill or anything. There's lots of opportunity in the area for us to deliver product to.
Wow, that sounds great. That sounds great. Yeah, because you hear some stories of various types of mining going on in Canada, and they obviously have to stop in the wintertime. But I mean, what an advantage for you guys. Of course, British Columbia historically is not as cold as it is in like Winnipeg.
Not the Yukon.
It's not certainly not the Yukon. Yeah, you got that right. Wow.
Well, one of our joint venture partner that runs the Gold Drop, we oversee the operations because part of the agreement is that we get to oversee the operations till they paid it off. They've had 2 drill rigs running on 2 new gold discovery veins that they've made down there since March, and they're just about to put out a bunch of assays. They've got and they've been operating for March, April, and now we're into May. They've been drilling away down there on 2 brand new gold veins, and other than the flooding, that's gone on in the area, which is it hasn't it's produced some muddy conditions. They've been able to operate since March, and they're working outside in the element, right? So,
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
It is. That's amazing. And Charles, what does the stock look like now?
Well, the stock is, sitting here in a pretty decent range because it hasn't been around for very long. You don't really see much of a chart, but the last on it is 17.5 cents, and it's a pretty solid chart going all the way back to 2016 with lows in the 11.5 to 12 cent range and highs in the it's been as high, it looks like on this chart, it's been as high as 65 cents. So it's sitting here pretty much at support, waiting, I guess, for more news.
Chris, as a newbie,
And it's new.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to realize it's new. I can't get the chart on the Canadian version of the stock, but you can be sure that is, number one, more active, and number two, a steadier kind of looking chart where there are consolidations. This is the problem when a foreign company comes in. People look at the stock, and it's more of a theoretical chart because they use the currency and they figure out, what it should be as opposed to how it actually trades. So, from the trading standpoint, I think it's down here at support.
Chris,
yeah, you know what?
What is it? What is a junior mining company that you've referred to a couple times?
The GGX Gold.
Well, you just mentioned you're a junior mining company. I don't understand that exactly.
A junior mining company?
Yeah.
Oh, we're not like a Kinross or a Barrick or a Agnico Eagle, right? We're a smaller operation.
Younger.
We trade on the Toronto Venture Exchange, right?
Gotcha.
That's
okay.
where we started. Yeah, that's what I mean by junior.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, and just to go back a little bit about our chart and stuff, when we got involved with the Brett project back in 2014, we started on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and we had to pay $1 million cash for the asset and over $1 million in stock, and the stock went from 10 cents up to $1.50 because a lot of the local miners in the area and the district know about this project. But it had some hair on it. There was fractional ownership. It's gone through a lawsuit. It was part of a package that was involved with Corona back when SK Creek was discovered, right? And so it's a very interesting property with lots of excellent drilling results on it. And so it's been whenever you get an exciting property like that, you attract a lot of attention. We recently went through a major. We had a group that tried to take a run at the company and acquire it, and we just cleared that. You'll see if you go back through our news releases. We were involved in a year of entanglement, and the stock was tied up while we're addressing this issue. But it's all been completely cleared, and everything was dismissed, and the company won, and we're free to go now. And so we're looking at forward with bated anticipation to finally get this project moving forward. But we paid millions for this, and then we acquired all the surrounding ground as well. So we have one of the largest, one of the first epithermal discoveries ever made in southern British Columbia that's never been mined, and it's an exciting opportunity for a junior mining company to have something like that.
Have you had to do? Do you have to do a 43-101?
Yeah, we've completed a 43-101. That's done. That's up on the site. We just did one of those, and so that's up on the site.
And that's a pretty major step because I know those are very expensive and very deep in detail about what you have, what you think you have, what you're going to mine. I mean, people here in the U.S. or people who aren't familiar with mining don't understand the degree of scrutiny that Canadian mining companies go through. It's head and shoulders above anything that you see anywhere else.
Well,
it's such a high standard.
Are you guys familiar with a company called Kinross Gold?
Of course.
Okay. So if you go back and just look at our recent news releases over the last couple of weeks, we've cleared all the takeover run that the guys tried to get a hold of the company. We cleared all that up. And then we started adding some technical support to our team. And if you go and look, there's a gentleman that just recently joined our team named Peter Cooper. And if you go and read his news release, Peter Cooper has taken 3 different projects from grassroots into full-scale production. The last one he did was for the Buckhorn facility for Kinross, just across the border in Washington State, right? And that's a mill that's also currently on care maintenance, owned by Kinross, on care maintenance, and they're also looking for feed. And then he just recently joined our team. And then there's another gentleman named Sean Dykes that's also just recently joined our team, and he's done all the historic work on the Brett. He did the original 43-101 back in 2004 and the original programs in there. And if you just go and read their profiles, these guys are joining us now because they realize that the opportunity lays ahead for us is fantastic. The road's cleared. We own everything 100%. 2 joint venture partners paying us cash and stock. And we've got this great project in front of us with a whole bunch of proven work done on it already that we can start to advance. And we're in this market scenario where we fully expect a major correction to come. There's no retail and there's no institutional investment in this space yet. We're at the low of the lows. And if you're going to enter into a marketplace, I mean, would you rather buy at the top or the bottom, right? I mean, if you go on there now, you'll probably see that I bought stock yesterday at 21 cents Canadian, right? I'm in here on the lead bid buying. So, and I report everything. I'm the largest shareholder in the company. So, I mean, I don't mind telling you guys that. But, I strongly believe in the gold market and what we're doing now. And I just, I watch the marijuana stocks, the Bitcoins, and the cryptocurrencies sucking the retail investor out. And when we see that correction, the safest haven that's always been the one to go is into these precious metal stocks.
Yep, that's right.
Anyways, I don't mean to preach to the converted. Sounds
no,
like
no, it's amazing. You mentioned marijuana stocks again. I mean, is that a real big deal in Canada? Because
It's been a big deal. This last year, it's been a lot about cryptocurrencies and initial coin offerings, ICOs. The year prior to that, it was all marijuana stocks, and it's still flowed into this year as well in Canada. So all that retail hype and everything was jumping into these things. They don't have anything to do with mining, right? But now I see it's going to be, it's going to be a consolidation game, right? As these things have started to come off, right? I think we'll see a consolidation game in the marijuana space.
Yeah, can you see
but again,
Amazon distributing marijuana? Oh man, yeah, bad joke, very very bad. Well, when you're talking about gold, what was the reaction? What was the reaction when you're over in Germany? And,
yes.
you're pitching X-Men Mining. What was their reaction to your presentation?
Well, the senior guys totally understand gold, right? And this is and because they've gotten experience with a few cycles. The junior crew, which is the millennials coming up.
Yes,
they're still interested in doing everything on their phones. They want everything transparent, but again, it goes back to the simple argument. You've got a backup. You're out. You got your house. Your power's on, and you've got a backup generator. Do you want your backup generator plugged into your main grid, so when your main grid goes down, your backup generator goes down too? Gold is outside the system. Gold in these is completely outside the system. It's outside the central banking system. So if you have anything that goes wrong, you've got a backup. And I think everybody's got to have some exposure to the gold market. And I don't mean in these, you see these ETFs and all, et cetera. If you read the fine print in there, the question is, they can also be paid in legal tender, right? So you got to check those things. And then you go back to the argument that you can own gold so long as you have direct control and ownership of it. And if you've got it and it's held by somebody else for you in a safe, then you can question that as well. Do you actually own it directly, right? But anyways, your question about the gold, the senior guys I think have a better understanding because they've gone through a few of these cycles and they've seen. Germany's had, they had their own time in the 30s and 40s when they had to wheel buckets of money around to buy a loaf of bread, right?
Sure.
What is paper money? What is fiat currency? It's just confidence in what you have, right? But none of these fiat currencies are tied into anything that's any tangible, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's really intriguing. Now that you say it that way, yeah, that is so true. So true. I mean, you start hearing about, the paperless banking, if you will, with no more dollar bills or whatever, and it's just,
we've progressed since then. I've seen articles about no plastic, everything electronic.
Yeah, I've seen that. I don't like that at all. That's real scary. That is real scary. But again, Chris, as you were talking about, I'll bet the millennials are the ones who are really going to be into that, everything on the phone type of banking system, if you will.
They will until we have a major crash, right?
Yes, yeah.
Right? And or something happens and they can't get into their phone, right? Or, the central banks around the world, they've just been trying to eliminate all the big bills. I mean, look at in India when last year, they took out the major notes. You went to bed one night, you woke up in the morning, and you had like 24 hours to bring your major notes in, or they were no good, right? They do not want money outside the system. They want it all digital. They want a control of everything, right?
And it's somewhat counterintuitive because if you think about what the prices of things are here, a $500 bill would not be unusual. And
no, they eliminated it in the States. No, you eliminated
it.
Oh,
yeah. Years ago.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty hard to stuff $1 million and $20 bills under your bed, isn't
it? Yes. Oh, man. Yeah.
You have to fill a Samsonite with them.
That's right. Yeah. But I and especially with a major correction coming here, and you've got this retirement. The demographics around the world are changing, right? And the workforce has shrunk considerably. And even in the U.S., if you read anything about it, the average U.S. savings account is around $3,400 right now, which is high. That's showing that there are a lot of people are holding cash in case of trouble and spending their credit cards. When times are good, the average savings account's around $1,000, $1,500.
Oh God!
Right?
You gotta be kidding.
But when we have a correction, 90% of these equities are held by these big institutional funds, and that's holding a lot of people's your 401ks, your retirement savings plans. That exit is gonna they'll be running for that exit, right? And when that happens, the capital flows like it did in the Great Depression. It all went into these gold and gold mining stocks, right? So, it doesn't take very much to.
Well, we had the same. We had the same thing in the mid to late 70s into the early 80s.
Oh,
same
sure.
thing.
Yeah,
Same
I mean
thing.
that is exactly the scenario where we sit now. We are sitting in that kind of scenario where you're not looking at a 10-bagger, you're looking at a possibility of a 100-bagger. And what I mean is you got a stock that can go from 10 cents to $10, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
I have often discussed this on the show with low price stocks from the standpoint of you have gains that are not arithmetic; they're actually exponential. If you buy something at a penny, and I'm just using that as an example. But if you buy something at a penny, and it goes up a penny, that's great. I made a penny, but you also made 100%. And at a nickel, you've made 500%, even though you've only made 4 cents. But the fact of the matter is, everybody gets paid the same percent on their investment. And so I think that percentage return is at least as important as the raw dollar returns going forward. I'll give you a better example of a stock that is not in this, that has had that same kind of exponential move, and that's Weight Watchers. I see Weight Watchers go up and down in a day. The raw price that I was buying it at $7 and $8, the stock is $80 now. And, you see they have earnings. When you get into the position where something can change in your favor or, against you by more than what your original price is, that's when it's an exciting investment.
Except Chris probably won't have Oprah as a spokesperson anytime soon.
Well, that's too bad. Clearly, she did a hell of a job there. Yeah. And she also, by the way, owns 20% of the company.
Well, okay. Yeah. Not bad.
Purchased at $7.
Yeah.
So there's another 10-bagger.
Do you know the name of that Egyptian billionaire that just recently, I think it was last week or the week before, liquidated his assets and put 50% of his assets into gold and gold equities? You know the name of it? Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Oh yeah. Well, that just happened. That just happened last week.
Wow.
Right? So I would not unconsider the fact that maybe Oprah should buy some gold and gold equities.
There you go.
Give me her number. I'll call her.
And she listens to Money Info too, which is even more impressive.
So Oprah, my name's Chris Anderson. I'm working on X-Men Mining Corp. XXMMS. Just give us a call, right? We'd be happy to get you involved with our company.
There you go, guys. Oh, I love it, Chris. Don't be a stranger. Sounds like you got a great company. X-Men Mining, British Columbia. All right. You've been listening to Money Info, brought to you by Princeton Research. Don't forget that newsletter comes out every Sunday night, written by the one Michael King in Las Vegas and Charles Moskowitz in lovely Boston. They'll be back on Tuesday with more Money Info right here on WPSL Port St. Lucie, WPSL.com worldwide, on Echo, on Google. And don't forget Alexa.